Welcome back, good people. Yes, we are doing the Action Bible Journey. We are on this journey from Genesis to Revelation, and we're doing this whole journey in 315 days. Today, it is day 96, and it is the final rest day. There's our little bench icon. It is a day when we're going to wrap up this period 17 that we started a few days ago, where we read Ezra, Nehemiah, and the book of Esther. So today it's talking about the ruins, the wall, and the invisible hand. So today we also have a theme for our reading, coming home and finding God in the shadows. So no new scriptures that we're reading today, but we're reviewing Ezra, Nehemiah, and Esther. Also, keep in the back of our minds the 5-second theology or cliff notes. It says, God restores what is broken. He uses teachers, builders, and orphans to bring his people home. Then let's read the summary of this period together. We have just walked through the final chapter of Old Testament history. The story that seemed to end in fire and chains did not stay dead. After 70 years of silence in Babylon, King Cyrus issued a miraculous decree. A remnant of 50,000 Jews packed their bags for the second Exodus, returning to Jerusalem as a ragtag group of pioneers facing a city of rubble. Under Zerubbabel, their first act was building an altar, understanding that before they could be safe, they had to be right with God. Rebuilding the temple was a bittersweet journey. The foundations were laid amidst a confusing noise of shouting and weeping, the young cheering the future and the old grieving the lost glory of Solomon's day. Opposition halted the work for 16 years, proving discouragement is the enemy's most effective weapon. But through the fiery preaching of Haggai, the people picked up their tools and they finished the house of God, funded ironically by the pagan king Darius. Then came Ezra, who set his heart to study, do, and teach the law. He led a spiritual reformation more painful than the physical construction. Arriving to find the holy seed mixed with idolatry, he tore his tunic and he led a weeping confession in the rain. They took the drastic step of separating from foreign wives, choosing the pain of holiness over the comfort of compromise. 13 years later, Nehemiah traded the Persian palace for the dust of Jerusalem. Rallied by his leadership, the people rebuilt the broken walls in just 52 days. We learned the strategy of the sword and trowel, building with one hand and holding a weapon with the other. Nehemiah fought off external threats and internal corruption, and yet he ended his book fighting the people's spiritual drift. He threw furniture out of the temple and he chased off the Sabbath breakers, proving that while walls protect a city, they cannot change a human heart. Meanwhile, back in Susa, we saw God's providence in the shadows. In Esther, God's name is never mentioned, yet his fingerprints are everywhere. A Jewish orphan became queen, and her cousin Mordecai refused to bow to the villain Haman. Through divine coincidences like sleepless night for the king, God turned a decree of genocide into a day of victory. Esther risked her life declaring, "If I perish, I perish," and saved her people. This section reveals the God of the second chance, who brought his people back from exile to re-establish the temple and the wall. But it leaves us with a profound sense of incompletion. The glory cloud never returned to this new temple, and the people remained under Persian rule. So as we close the Old Testament history books, the stage is set, but the main character has not arrived. The altar is ready and the wall is up, but the people's hearts are still stone. The 400 years of silence begin now, with a nation waiting for a prophet greater than Moses, a priest greater than Ezra, and a king greater than David to finally finish the work. Everyone, that is going to wrap up this period 17 of the return and rebuilding. And let's spend a little bit more time today, maybe 30-35 minutes, on the reflection through actions. Firstly, let's do the tracing of the story from the altar all the way to the shadows. And then let's do the deep dive as we read some key scriptures in Esther. Also, the silent vigil. Everyone, let's do our task and the meditation while. And let's do the life connection by seeing how this relates to us. And finally, the closing liturgy. Let's read it aloud as we seal the post-exilic books and we get ready for our next period.